Yeah, have you been spending too much time with Cthulhu?
Visualize building progress. That's the one. So just put that inside. So go to the top.
Yeah.
Click that guy right there.
Here?
Yeah, and then just go to your...
user settings?
Yeah, user settings, and then mod stone earth.
Okay.
And then...
I should mention that we are live.
Are we?
But they can't see our faces yet.
Okay,
so you're still a mystery.
Oh my god, who is this? Avarian, did I hear Tom? That is not Tom. I don't sound anything like Tom.
He does, in fact.
Yeah.
I know the video is not there. It's a mystery.
They'll figure it out.
Wait, where am I supposed to put this key?
Mods, and then Stonehearth. So, like, maybe right after enable terrain coordinates or something.
Stonehearth.
Whatever.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's red.
And then make that true. No sense. Yeah. I hate that.
Hello, everybody. Oh wait, the camera's here. Wouldn't that help? That help?
Close enough.
Some of you can probably hear us, and some of you cannot because my Twitch ad is still playing. Hello. Oh, you can skip them.
Kind of. No, that's a thing.
What? Skipping the
ad
zone caues the thing.
Wait, I need to see this ad. This might be relevant for me. This could be really.
Everyone's seeing a different ad though.
Very melody.
So yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Can you hear us?
Are you sure that's not Owen Wilson? It's definitely not Owen Wilson, in every sense of the word.
It is exactly true.
Yeah.
All right, I should pop this out so that you guys can see the chat too.
Okay,
but all right, so this is stream 201. And for stream 201, we are lucky enough to have Chris with us. So hello, this is Chris.
Hello, stream.
Have you ever been on stream?
No.
Chris has never been on stream.
Yeah. I managed to skip the first 200.
How is
201
this
was the. This is my unlucky day.
So Chris is not always with us. Chris sometimes works from outside of this office, from snowy climes in the far north, where he works on building all the time. So I figured that while Chris was here, we could talk about building. So if you guys have building questions or building suggestions or just thoughts about building or want to know more about building, today is the day. Yes, and definitely at us in the comments so that we can see you, because it'll be a little bit difficult here to check it out. So, okay, great. They're happy it's you, just like we are often happy it's you when you're.
They don't actually know this. This could be another Chris. I mean,
they've
never seen me before, so
multiple Chris's. You've been in some pictures though. Like there's the picture of you and me when we were at our desks,
the
and
old
then
Radiant,
we were moving into this place, and you're there for that picture too. Like we only take pictures of the team when you're here, so therefore.
Clearly, the team only exists when I'm around. There's a quantum mechanical thing going on here. Undo is brokenish when it comes to roof adjustments. Almost certainly. Well, maybe not almost certainly. That's a little surprising. Roofs are terrible. I'll have to go and look at them again. I think between the last building work has all been on basically making sure they go up and getting scaffolding placement correct. So there's definitely lots and lots of ridiculous little bugs that now need to be addressed. Some of which are just UI based and other stuff. So.
Yeah, Yang has been taking on a lot of those UI bugs, like with undo and erase and stuff like that, and like the usability stuff that you guys have seen. Oh yeah, goblins on fire. Goblins
I've never seen a fire arrow before.
Isn't
if you can
that
believe
cool?
that. That's
Melly, you're amazing.
That is a beautiful
Yes!
trail. Holy cow.
So for those of you guys who didn't know, we were actually all in LA last week for a company-related conference thing. So it's like amazing because you come back to Stonehearth and it's like, this is the best thing ever. This is the best job ever. Like, this is the best game. I mean, you know, like, it's easy for me to say that.
It looks really... now we just need fire that's an actual system so we can start burning down forests. I figure that'll be... And burning down buildings as well. Because building buildings isn't hard enough. King Foxtrot asks, from what I understand, does the scaffolding have a mind of its own? It does not have a mind of its own. But the game definitely thinks a hell of a lot about it now when putting it up. I could probably talk about that for length. Maybe we'll just put that off for the moment while we admire more things going on. Oh, Megashub is there. Hey.
Megas Hub.
Is it Megashub or is it Mega's Hub? I think it's Megashub. I don't know.
Megas.
Like, I think Megashub kind of, yeah. I don't know.
Let us know what it is.
Yeah. Put a hyphen in there.
Yeah.
That'll make it obvious.
So, and Warp, this is Warp. He does the Bastioneers.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see.
You love building mechanics. Okay, that makes one of us. I'm kidding, but it is hard.
The game freezing 5 minutes in.
Ooh,
this sounds like a terrible thing. So make sure, if there's not a post on the discourse yet about it, make a post on the discourse. Post all of your logs.
If it's freezing, make sure you're not on ATI or AMD, and if you are on the latest drivers, that's always a thing.
Yeah, definitely. And if it only just started freezing, just give us all the details you can, and that is definitely something we want to fix.
Yep.
I know it's not freezing for everybody 5 minutes in, but I hope anyway, so let us know. No answer to the forum thread, no answer to the PM questions. We have been gone for a week, so we have not been able to check the forum in many cases or to check our PM, so let us know again. Apologies if you have been trying and have not been getting through. We've just been elsewhere. Are you guys going to make some tutorials because the building system can get a bit complicated? Yes and yes. One of the things we want to do is make a tutorial, but we only want to make a tutorial after we make the building system less complicated. Yeah,
it's like the building system was originally designed around the idea of very much sort of a pixel painting kind of metaphor, where it's like it's not Photoshop. Well, a little bit like Photoshop, but Windows Paint. You're putting pixels down and you can undo, but that's about it. And that works for some people, and that works well in some situations, and it does give you that sort of pixel perfect accuracy, voxel perfect accuracy in this case, of building very elaborate structures. And in other ways, like, people want to think logically, or lots of people, I should say, want to think logically about buildings. You have logical rooms and floors and walls that are connected and, draggable and morphable, and it's not super great for that. And so that's one of our, now that building's starting to actually building things is getting somewhat stable, we can start to go and kind of hack on the UI issues and start to make that actually a lot friendlier. Tutorials is one thing, but I try to always look at tutorials as a bit of a crutch. Like, it's the thing you resort to when you can't do anything else, and there's still a lot I think we can still do, and to make the thing just a lot more intuitive and obvious.
So one of the things we definitely want to do, like for example, there's a lot of UI improvements I think we can make. We couldn't make them until we could reliably create interior walls, and now we think we have interior walls.
Interior walls should be fine. I mean, there's a few.
This is seriously the least proclamated advertised improvement. You've been so humble about this.
Well, I mean, no, everything, like the whole building system, the way scaffolding could have changed. Like, when we talk about building, we're generally talking about scaffolding, because scaffolding is how Earthlings put up buildings. And now we can finally think very generally about how to put up a thing and how to put up a building. Oh, hold on, Mega Shub. Actually, it's Mega Shub. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
You were right.
Had a feeling.
You love being right.
Yeah. But yeah, so the long and short is the original scaffolding system was very, very optimistic, is maybe one way of putting it, a very polite way of putting it. You would basically just say, here are structures, and let's plop scaffolding down, and we'll try to put it on one side, and if that doesn't work, we'll put it on another side, and if that doesn't work, we'll throw our hands up, and we won't know what to do. And that could actually get you there's a surprising amount of mileage you can get out of that. And then obviously it's going to fail at some point, and fail very badly, and people here love to build incredibly complicated and incredibly beautiful things.
Yes.
But did I mention incredibly complicated? So it's basically just been a big rethink about building, and basically putting you have to do this sort of pre-computation. You have to look from the ground up. I'm going to put down the floor, then I'll put down these walls. Walls need scaffolding over here. Now I'm going to put down a roof. Roof needs scaffolding over there. But wait, the roof scaffolding is going to interfere with this other piece of scaffolding. So let's be careful about putting this thing over there. And then it's elaborate, but there's literally nothing else, that can be done. Oh, semantic endpoint.
Symantec. No.
Sure, Semantic. We would love to go and upgrade
Remind me in
never.
2
Why
hours.
is never not an option?
Right.
Because of the hack sorting.
But that that was not our game crashing.
Hooray.
So,
Hooray.
DMago, you have totally sent us your ideas about balancing mob groups, but we haven't forgotten. It's just that every alpha has a theme. And so this alpha is about building, last alpha was about building, and so it's really difficult to think about things that are not related to building right now. So that's probably why, if we haven't gotten back to you, that is. But thank you very much for sending the stuff. Atrelane, congratulations on finishing your online SQL class.
Oh dear.
Let's see. And Mega Shub, awesome. Let's see.
Adjustable wall height. I think
so. Yang was just talking about that.
Yeah.
This is Timur, whose templates you use on a regular basis.
Or do I?
Yeah, like
I
Timur
have so
has
many.
a really lovely multi-story house, and
oh, I think I know which one. Yeah.
It's the blue one.
Yeah.
Right. Yang was just asking about that because she wanted adjustable wall height to not have to do with roof offset.
Yeah.
And that makes so much sense to me.
Yeah,
because,
we should be able to now go and actually have like reasonable. Like this is a cute for the roof offset.
Yeah, this one.
Like it works, but it's a bit ridiculous.
Well, it's weird to find it with the roof. And what happens with the negatives? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I do like that though, like -5.
Please don't do that.
No? Okay.
It's bound for a reason, even if the input doesn't let you do it.
Alright. Hey Joe Maxro, good to see you.
The fine-looking gentleman. I like that. That works for me. I will definitely take that.
Joe Maxer, this is Chris. And it's true, he is not a myth. And he's also not Owen Wilson.
Again, in both senses of that.
The word, in every sense of the word. It's like, but Winnie is also, Yang is also not Owen Wilson, and...
This is true. It's a rather, I mean, most people, by and large, are not Owen Wilson, so...
Yeah.
Our building status is using the building...
Statues.
Yeah, we have a little bit of statuses. Oh, statues.
Statues.
Oh, yeah. Like, it should more or less work for arbitrary voxel structures. So if you have, like, this big thing, I would prefer... I mean, if we're talking about actual, like crafter statues, I would like us to not use it that way and have... Just because I think it's a little bit simpler and a little... Yeah, I mean, you can go and start to just do elaborate stuff.
But I mean,
let's
like,
see where it breaks.
This is, like, if you were going to make a statue with this...
Like a mushroom, for example? Like a one-up mushroom?
Like a one-up mushroom, for example. At a non-random example.
Totally hypothetical.
Dude,
and there are things you can still blow up on here. Like, there are still a few building failure cases that I have to take care of, that we have to handle. So, for example, hearthling traps are a thing, where if you go and you create a structure that can trap a hearthling, the system isn't quite smart enough to notice that maybe you shouldn't put any scaffolding and everyone should stay out of there. Just some stuff like that. So, in theory, it should. But,
is there a build test?
Yep.
I feel like we were just running a combat test, which is not very useful.
Maybe not the most appropriate. I think this should have blink enabled as well. Unless I'm totally... Oh no, they do not. They're still doing their thing.
That's fine. But yeah, so I think too, like, you know, you should be able to use the voxel tool to make all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And
you definitely can. Like now, it should be a matter of let's just fix all the bugs and lots of stuff.
Right.
What other people are saying. Non-restricted length on freestanding walls. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we want that. Well, see, the thing is, you can do that already using the grow walls tool, and you just go and build a gigantic floor, and then you raise walls, and suddenly you have gigantic walls. So maybe we should do that.
Yeah. The other thing I suppose we could do is we could make it so that you can put a non-restricted length, but then the columns come in at where the column at the minimum
the regular
locations.
intervals. Yeah.
Right, because the original point behind making sure that there was a restriction in this was eventually for... Tony looks so far ahead. Was eventually for building destruction. Like, if you are too far away from a column, your building support would not work, or something, was his original idea.
I don't think we're doing, like... We're not doing... Our gravity is going to be the original XCOM gravity, which is to say, you want to knock out the whole structure. I don't think we're going to do, like, a static analysis of stress points and, what is it, finite element analysis, I think is the stuff that some games do. I don't think we'll be doing that.
Well, this is in 2013. He was being very optimistic. So.
Deletable freestanding walls, please. Yes, me too.
Okay.
I will be happy when we get that in. That will make me much, much, much happier.
This is where I open... So we totally have a building asks document.
Yes.
Where is it? Let me find it so that it'll be open, and we can have that conversation.
This is totally not being shared, right?
No,
okay.
This is the shit.
Yay.
There's always a danger. Indeed.
Oh, a very nice question. Chris, give any more thought into giving us roofing and wall type slabs? So wall type slabs should probably just go away and become regular slab. Like at this point, it's basically...
Wait, what are you talking about?
So walls are treated a little bit specially from floors.
Yeah.
And they probably should just be the same thing, I think. There's a little bit of a hackiness around being able to go and put in windows and things like that. And the thing is, if we can go into regular slab, then we can put windows and doors and whatnot into just regular slab, which means that the people that go and make these very elaborate floorings, which is really for walls, can then actually place things in that, which would be very, very nice. And then giving roofing type slabs. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that yet. I might... Roofs are special, and maybe they shouldn't be, and we're actually going to run into trouble when we do stuff like the Viking-style roofs, which are very, very steep. That the thing about roofs right now is there is an assumption built in that every part of the roof is instantly accessible from every other part, which is to say you can be anywhere and you can make your way. There's always a reachable path along the roof. And it's basically because they're only generated such that there's these one height increments between different pieces. So even if it goes up a lot, you will still be able to reach whatever part from whatever part. So we can kind of fake a lot of scaffolding that way. When we go beyond the one height disparity or one height increments in roofs, we will then have to actually put general scaffolding on the whole thing. So the roof type might just go away. We shall see. But also, you want the roof type stuff in order to be able to peel the roofs off when you go into sort of the dollhouse mode. So is there a way to then just mark them? Maybe that's what roof types actually mean, is I want this to get peeled away. Actually, that's a really good idea to do it that way. That might actually be the thing to do.
But I mean, like, what about RPG mode? Because like sometimes I know that people build stuff out of slab, but they wish that it would go away when you go into like RPG mode. Yeah, and that's another one where like, well, what we can do is we can check to see if your slab is very tall and very thin, and which is to say one thin, and then that will signal that this is actually like a wall kind of thing. Except that I'm sure there are cases that you'll run into where that's just not going to fly. So then again, do you mark things, or maybe does the slab tool have a mode where you can say this is actually wall and this is actually like right over here you'd be like this is wall, this is roof. Okay. And then somehow we do some magic. That's probably not impossible. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head that's going to make that ridiculous, but it's something to keep note of. Slab has an always opaque tool.
It's slab is essentially floor. I mean, we call it slab, but it's
as wall and treat as roof tool. Maybe for visualization purposes. The alternative is to stick those tools inside the wall tool. Like it's like here somewhere inside wall.
Yeah, but I think people are gonna start to they're gonna want to build voxel slabs, and then they're gonna be like, oh, actually I wanted this to function like a wall. So is there a thing that you can go in and then select the whole thing and make it a wall, or can you select part of it and make it like it gets a little bit hairy, especially when you want to have nonlinear flows where you can do something first and then do something else. I remember I first tried making stairs back with the slab tool. Now they no longer trap themselves in slabs. I love it. Yay.
Thank you, Geister. I'm very happy about this too.
Oh, would it be possible to include the wood needed for scaffolding? Yes, we should be able to do that actually very easily now. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
No, that's now we know everything that you need. In fact, if anything, it'll be an overestimate because we do have to bring down pieces of scaffolding to put up other ones. But that will give you at least a very, very reasonable idea.
I'm glad. Until recently, it was impossible.
Yeah, because what we did,
it was like 100% non-deterministic.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
We could use new color palettes, designs, official ladders just to get away from single-colored walls. Yes,
we're
thinking.
Yeah.
Nothing to talk about in this stream.
Yeah, really more also questions for Ali. Like,
yes.
Because as she figures out the visual design for high-end cities, like what kind of patterns do you want?
Yeah. There's a lot of thinking that we actually still have to do with respect to the visual design. So we'll think. Where you can't use a pillar for 3 walls. Not so much a bug. Columns don't know how to go and join. I think right now they only support 2, so that's actually something that we should probably go is have multi-wall columns.
Right.
To build walls, I need to carefully click on the columns to keep building a long wall.
I'm going to write that down as...
I think that's the unbounded...
Freestanding wall tool is unbounded, and columns are automatically added.
Oh, so no longer having to do the shift thing.
Place.
Oh, no, yeah. So, Joe Moxer probably doesn't know then. You can hold down shift, and that will allow you to keep placing columns and create a line. Does anyone know about this? Am I the only one that knew?
I knew about it.
Okay, yeah. So you just keep doing that, and then so you do not have to carefully click. We have some well-hidden features, quote-unquote. Again,
great?
There's a UX pass that could probably be done.
If this is not actually the case, and this is not what you wanted, let us know. Stonehearth, what about the pillars, eventually? Basically the wall tool.
But only the pillars of the wall. Oh yeah, so you want to be able to individually place that, act like walls do in the partial view. Yeah, so just being able to place a column down. Yeah, you cannot.
Just like that?
Nope.
You can't?
Yeah, you cannot.
Oh.
I don't think. Well, you shouldn't be able.
Oh,
Yeah, you can do that, which is like so you actually have a degenerate
Whoops.
wall. Yeah, and then it clicks away, and you can't place it.
Alright. Place single pillars. Wow.
Yeah, or single columns anyway.
Single columns.
You can avoid trapped workers when you find a performant way of using a reachable algorithm that builds up a building order that defines which blocks are dependent upon and which other ones voxel. So we almost have that. Well, you have to be careful. This would work one way for building up and backward for scaffolding to robbing the scaffolding at the end. So, okay. Let's see where to begin. The dependency is insufficient. As far as unreachable locations, and you have to actually know, or actually maybe what you're saying is you actually want a reachable. Your dependency thing that you're suggesting is a reachable algorithm. That sounds to me like a Pathfinder-led dependency ordering. I have no. It's something that's occurred from time to time. I have no idea how to do that yet, and if ever. It's a very strange kind of thing to think about because ultimately the scaffolding and dependencies is all sort of like this four-dimensional structure, which sounds awesome. Which is just an elaborate way of putting it, because you have to bring down scaffolding sometimes in order to put up structure. And that's what I mean. So there's this temporal thing. It's not like I have a building and I'm going to put scaffolding around all of it. You actually have to say, well, I have these pieces. Which piece do I build first? And the choice of piece that I build first will then influence where scaffolding goes later on. I might have to bring down pieces of scaffolding because I chose to go and build a building in this particular order. This happens right now, even with sort of the new algorithm. Depending on the order in which sort of the dependency tree is just being arbitrarily explored by Lua, you end up with something. You can just end up with different dependencies and different orderings, and you'll see actually different scaffolding going in different directions from play to play to play. If we had something where we could do that and had exact reachability information, yeah, it's not a flood fill. You still can't do it. You still need to know temporally where things are, what state they're in at various stages of the building. So the idea I have right now for unreachable locations is actually very, very straightforward and probably going to double the length of time that it takes to go and calculate the calculate building dependencies and whatnot. It's cute. I'll put it out there. Maybe someone can come up with something better. You design your whole building, and then we do this. We do the building calculations. And when we do the building calculations, we take every single structure that's inside the building, and we put that onto this one big region, this one big thing, this bucket that has all the voxels, all the bits in it. And then we sort of wrap another box around that, like a bounding box, but we make it a little bit longer in all three axes in both sort of directions, positive and negative x, positive negative y, positive negative z. Then we subtract every single thing, every single building structure from that slightly larger bounding box. And so the end result is that you're going to have this box that it encompasses the entire building and has all these tendrils of blocks going in and around and whatnot that represent sort of the accessible regions of the structure. And then you'll have all these other disjoint regions, these disjoint blocks that represent unreachable locations. So we throw away the big one that covers the entire structure, that's all the reachable stuff, and everything else represents an unreachable location. And then when we're going and actually computing the scaffolding, every time we try to drop a piece of scaffolding somewhere, we say, wait, does this intersect any of these unreachable blocks, these anti-scaffolding regions? And if it does, then we know, oh, okay, this is unreachable, this is unbuildable, go and try something else. And then we can try to look around and compute different, try to put scaffolding in different locations and potentially even give up. I think that will work. I don't think there's anything completely wrong with that. It's pretty expensive, looking at something like the Basilica that has, like 1,000 pieces. So there's 1,000 pieces of little geometry that need to go and removed and moved around and whatnot. So yeah, it's more computation, but I think it'll work. If anyone has anything better, by all means. That was a lot of talking. Okay, what are people saying on the stream right now? I know scaffolding is the main selling point in the quick start, but you agree that the feature was way too early implemented? Yes. Well, it wasn't thought about enough. We were a little optimistic. I think Stonehearth has been a tale of tremendous optimism.
Great optimism.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we can just do this in 2 weeks. This will be fine. Maybe more than 2 weeks.
What we've learned is that Tony isn't great at estimating.
Yeah. I don't know any programmers that are good at estimating, though. I mean, if you've done it before, you can estimate, and if you haven't, good luck. You're throwing dice.
What inspired the use of scaffolding in the first place?
Do we know? I mean, I guess it was just sort of the intent of we want to build it block by block. It's
right.
Minecraft and its ilk all have, block by block building, except it's the player that's doing it, and, often involves zero gravity, and you can just sort of place blocks wherever you like. It's cool. No one's done it before. It definitely differentiates, but I think it creates that impression of a building, living city, as opposed to just, guys that sort of corner going like this, banging on the sides of the building comes out of the ground.
Right.
So I definitely, I think you want to adjust it to be 3 size. Yeah, just scroll down and then there it is. I love the stair tool. That makes things so much easier.
Cool. Wow.
Thank God in Yang. It's so much better. I have to be honest, I thought Chris was typing just then, but they were doing it single-handedly while he was waving his hands in the air. Sometimes that happens. No, it doesn't.
Jim actually says shift does work, presumably for the walls.
Yeah, debug tools totally gets in the way. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. Literally the most frustrating thing.
Alpha 18 is more building,
Yep.
a little bit more building, and then also, if you saw today's Desktop Tuesday, a lot of performance stuff.
Yeah, for building, we got to bring down buildings. If you'll notice, there's no way to do that right now, so we will be having that. Should I say how it's going to work? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah. It's cool though.
Yeah,
We've made progress.
It's a little different. It's a little different than it was before for various reasons. Some gameplay and some just expediency, but you'll see. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, there's been one long-standing pathfinding bug. Not so much a bug, but a problem where if I'm here and I'm trying to pick up a block that's over here, and it's not reachable. Even if it's right next to me, but it's on a pedestal or something, so the Hearthling can't reach it. The Hearthlings will exhaust the entire universe looking for that particular block, and when you have 50 Hearthlings and they're all trying to exhaust the universe simultaneously looking for that block, as you might be able to imagine, not exactly the greatest use of CPU time. So it is now time to go and finally fix this, which is basically involves sort of keeping a region map, a reachability map in world. Wow, do they need a lot of it? Yeah, I think that's probably more than enough. If I had to guess, they need wood for scaffolding. Make sure they got it.
It's green.
That's interesting. Did you say?
I turned on the.
You haven't actually clicked build yet. So yeah, everything is green because it's not active, but everything is buildable. So it's a little bit on the ridiculous side that way. And so now we go. And so now everything's active, but then they undid the unbuildable. I don't know if anyone's seen this, or how many people have seen this not on the stream.
Nobody has seen this.
Everybody?
Well, nobody has seen it. Oh. You put a picture of it in
true.
Desktop Tuesday 2 weeks ago. But this is so cool.
Yeah, so this is the building visualizer that I put in that helps tremendously when trying to understand why something isn't building. And basically, visualize building progress under Stonehearth, under mods.
Yep.
And this will basically allow you to go and see, as they complete things and as they build stuff, what things are unbuildable, what things are presently buildable, when more things are going to be... I'm sorry, I just saw something hilarious. Estimate it once, then multiply by 3. But that becomes the new estimate, and then you have to multiply by 3 again. Anyway, there's a thing, Hofstadter's Law. It's always going to take longer than you expect, even when you take into account Hofstadter's Law. So, anyway, so the green represents stuff that is now buildable and now reachable, so they can go and they can build that. You will see occasionally red blocks, which I don't think there are any here. Yeah.
That's not a red block.
That is
just the floor.
Clay. Which means I don't know how to build that. And then blue indicates we want to be able to build this thing, and we're ready to build, but we have to bring down scaffolding that's in the way. Let's see.
Right. So this visualization, if you turn it on and you see something red, what does that mean? Yeah,
so the dependency analysis, basically, now the algorithm goes from the bottom up, trying to go and figure out what order in which to build things based upon dropping scaffolding and figuring out where it has to go. And sometimes it just can't figure it out and doesn't know where to go and put anything. And in that case, it usually means there's a fairly complicated or complicated-ish structure where something has just got itself into a state that's a piece of it can't be built because of the order in which we kind of proceeded through the dependency graph, or the order in which we built the dependency graph. And because of that, it's going to instantly build when all of its dependencies are satisfied. It'll just sort of poof into existence, because if we didn't do that, then the entire building would stop. Some of those are actually fixable, I've noticed. Some of them are actually really, really easy to build. We overestimate right now the amount of scaffolding that we need, and that's something I'll be looking at later on, Alpha 19, Alpha 20, something like that. Oh, Demago has another comment. I just want to read this. Guess I'm going to dream of that scaffolding issue. Yeah, I have nightmares of it. Going with my pathfinding algorithm, you could eventually save a lot of scaffolding if run backwards reachable matrix simultaneously, make sure that workers don't get trapped. This could eventually allow workers to put one ladder, go up a wall, and build block by block, while also building up one ladder instead of a huge scaffolding area. Yeah, you can do stuff like that, but again, it's the same issue, and you need to make sure you never get trapped. You never get into a non-convex region where, oh, it was reachable and now it's not. Like, actually, while we're talking about overuse of scaffolding, like, I had this tech thing I put together on a branch where I was just trying to be really aggressive and not use as much scaffolding use as little scaffolding as possible, and it seems like it's a totally doable thing, and you run into these nasty little cases where, like, you have a wall and you have a thing over here, like a floor on the wall, and like, okay, the floor doesn't need any scaffolding on the side because it's reachable because you can get up the wall. But if you put another structure right on the floor in front of it, you can cut off access to that floor, such that if you had the scaffolding on the other side, you'd totally be able to reach it. But because this thing is in the way, on top of it, it is no longer reachable. So it's not as simple as just saying, well, I know you're connected to this thing which I already have access to, therefore I can go. You actually have to make sure that nothing is going to be in your way in order to go and put up the scaffolding. So it's a complex problem. It's really, 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 really complex. Oh, yeah.
Radiant Doug says that he could watch you on stream all day.
Oh, Radiant Doug. Oh, Radiant Doug.
I skipped past a bunch of comments. Any hope of getting some of Mally's new animations in Alpha 18?
I think if they're strictly idle, he's done some of them already.
I think the idle ones definitely could. Yeah. Like, we should totally be able to get the idle ones in there. Yeah. Let us know, Mally, how that's going. Is this the Tier 2 Raya blueprints? I don't really know. Like, I was just experimenting with this space, so we'll see.
We definitely need some.
At some point he's like, you need to build the scaffolding. Sorry, we skipped. We're going backwards now.
Yeah, performance optimization. Yes, I agree.
Talked about the single columns. Wild thought. How about like a rival village?
You learn a lot about the build system when you try to explore the system. Yeah. yes. But I mean, to be fair, like, we give you the tools, and we've given you an arbitrary voxel editor. So like, it's up to us to either restrict what you can do with it, or like, to make sure that everything works. So. We could use a way to designate. So, as a matter of fact, you do have a way right now to designate which direction sort of. It's very, like, you have to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Whether you draw them in a clockwise or a counterclockwise. Yeah, I put this in because, like, there's, like, probably 3 people who instantly got it because they're probably computer graphics people, and they know what a winding order is, and everyone else is just like, this is random. If you go and you pay attention to the way in which you're drawing your freestanding wall tools. Yeah. And
so, like, if you go clockwise...
Yeah, it'll disappear on the outside, and if you go counterclockwise, it'll disappear on the inside.
Oh, jeez. Alright, so this is clockwise. So it should disappear.
Oh, did you cancel out, or yeah?
No, it should disappear when it should not disappear.
I can't remember which direction it goes. So okay, so this is yeah. Oops. So that's disappearing that direction, and then if we go the other way. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Alright.
That's been in there for alphas. I can't even remember when I put that in there, but believe it or not.
No. Alright.
So the grow wall tool actually does this. It does it implicitly. So when you grow walls around a structure and you put holes in the middle, it will look and it'll say, "Oh, you got holes in the middle. I'm going to make those go and stick out so that you see them when you're in RPG mode, versus the ones in the exterior, which will then disappear when you're not in RPG, or when you're also in RPG mode, I should say."
I feel like it just, you know how Yang has for placement, like she added like a little arrow.
Yeah.
Like, we probably
absolutely. Like, I put it in there because I wanted it in there so that someone, who would intuit it. This was by no means, like, the final solution and the correct thing to do. We need that. We need to be able to, like, drag the arrow and flick it in the other direction so that you can trivially change these sorts of things. Like, absolutely. That's all, like, utterly deficient UI.
Megashub says, how about rescue Hearthling instructions that can maybe reuse the building AI? Although we do have teleport at the moment, so like, that is kind of like your rescue.
We need to teach them to build their own ladders.
Yeah,
actually the other thing is this reachability service that will hopefully land in 18, where we can tell that actually no, there's no way we can you're trying to pass through all these places and none of them are accessible. That probably means that you're stuck. So let's float a little bubble and maybe put up a little alert that says your Hearthling is trapped and really hungry or whatever. So hopefully that will come as well. I've never been able to commit to memory.
Radiant Doug was reading from his script.
Yeah.
Like, Radiant Doug says that they hired him for that day, but didn't send him the script till the day of. Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you saw. He was just, like, Doug was here, and he just read Raj's comments.
Oh, just
like,
over and over? Yeah.
Paper.
Yeah.
Like, but, I mean, you know, they were very good comments.
Yes. Did you think it would be this easy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Build walls all out of intersection parts for building it without having to get scaffolding or with creating walls around villages. Out of intersection parts for building. I'm not sure what that exactly means. Some custom prints saved at 20 by 1 walls of just Oh! Is that what I can build very fast and block off my... Oh, okay. I wanted stop being hangry hearthling sounds.
Thanks, Keister. We've decided the hearthlings don't have voices, but they do cry when they're very upset, you know, so maybe the crying animation could use some, like, the splattering sound of tears.
They need some facial expressions as well. That was planned back in the day. We were going to have all... I mean, I think we should still have.
On our Facebook page.
Yeah.
You can see that they have the, like, eyes or whatever. Yeah. They're so happy.
Well, we have at some point that'll have to go in just because it's too good to not have.
Yeah, agreed. So many things. All right. Why does the wall store the direction in which it has to go transparent?
Proximity plus direction. So, I mean, that's one way to do it. I guess the way it, for me, it was intuitive. Intuitive. That... You know, first of all, we want this sort of dollhouse effect where you can just peel away walls, and that there are sort of logically two kinds of walls, ones are which on the outside and ones are which are on the inside. And in particular, if you have little wall loops on the inside, you want to be able to see them. I don't know if there's strong pushback. If people are like, no, walls should just disappear. But like when you get close to it, though, as well, it's like that's another thing. Like that's another question. Like, should it be that? Because right now, all walls everywhere disappear, and I kind of like that. But maybe that's something to explore. I actually haven't taken a close look at The Sims, and maybe that's something we should steal from them.
Yeah.
I'll take a look and...
Well, I think the thing is, for The Sims, you only just have one house.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had, like, 10 houses, and you put the wall down, then suddenly you see the inside of all of them, which is kind of cute.
Yeah. I do like that look a lot, so...
Yeah. Like, and if it was just the house that you were closest to, then you'd never be... Like, if you pulled back, you wouldn't get that, like, oh, the whole city has a cutaway view for it.
Yeah.
We talked about this for a while. It's so funny because these conversations bring me back to the moment in which we're talking about it, and we're in the other building, and Tony's like walking back and forth. And no one else has been hired yet, and it's great. Like, oh, it's so peaceful. Like,
and we're going to be done in like 3 months. It's great.
Oh, so all the scaffolding's red now. What does this mean?
So red, it's not a bad thing in this case. It's just we have to tear the scaffolding down, and green means we're putting the scaffolding up. Or technically, green means the delta scaffolding is positive, so more scaffolding can be added. So you might actually see some guys tearing down a little bit of scaffolding here and there while they're adding more pieces. And the red means it's being torn down. Particularly useful if you get scaffolding stuck in a place where it's inaccessible. So they're trying to tear it down and won't ever. It just sticks out like a sore thumb, and you can see it very, very quickly.
Gotcha.
What else is going on here?
Thanks, Puni.
You already stole Yang from The Sims. We're not done stealing. Which is better as the interface layer, Python or Lua? The correct answer is neither. Sorry, this is the opinionated programmer coming out. I'm old enough and disgruntled enough now I'm starting to think that the only... If you want me to work on a project that's definitely going to have more than 5,000 lines of code in a given language, I want that language to have types. For the love of God, the refactoring problems that I've gotten into where just having a compiler that could like check my spelling for me would be so much nicer than having that. That said, Lua is sort of de facto. It does have a lot of great features for sort of interfacing with C++, and I don't know. I don't know if... There's no like obviously great language for sort of, you know, doing scripting, and that is both super productive and performant and interfaces well and great tooling and it's at least nothing that I know of, nothing that I've heard anyone sort of gush about. Lua's good. Python's also good. They've got their pluses and minuses, you know, in terms of both performance and accessibility and tooling and things like that. So it's a little bit of, you know, what's the best sort of impedance match for whatever it is that you're doing.
Dimago says, oh, you were talking with Yang. Yeah, that was during Stream 200, I think. And so that was right before we all flew off to LA. So we have not looked at anything for the week since then. And even then, before we went back and went to go look at combat, we would want to find a release where it was all about combat before we really sort of paged the ideas back in. But thank you for thinking about it.
Guys, just as I said, you should have used a Lisp-based language early on. That's interesting. I remember, I read there was a great story about a dude, I think it was on, who did Jack and Daxter? What was that company? Was that Rare or something? I don't know. Original PS1, or it might have been PS2. This super brilliant programmer was he wrote a Lisp. Yeah, it must have been PS2. He wrote a Lisp that, amongst other things, you could actually write inline assembly for the PS2, and so you could utilize its vector processors really nicely. It allowed you to hot patch in real time, so you could change your game scripting code, hit enter, it would upload it and do all the right things. And the takeaway didn't seem to be so much that it was because he used Lisp or a scheme or whatever. But it seemed almost he was just brilliant. So he was able to make all that work and support all these people using it, and managed to strong-arm some people to get into to learn it and learn some of the idiosyncrasies. Using a Lisp comes with its own baggage and own kind of issues, and
parentheses.
Well, I mean, but once you get used to it, and once you get past it, it can be a preposterously powerful thing. But which dialect, and then do you again have the tooling support, and are you going to take the hit of training all your programmers on it? And it's one of those things. If I could kind of fork a universe off that I didn't care so much about, and be like, hey Chris, and alternate Tony and alternate everyone, try a Lisp, see what goes on. I have all these crazy ideas like that. I would love to rewrite the renderer in Rust. I would love to rewrite the UI in Elm. I'm a language nerd in that respect.
In Elm? I don't even know what
Elm is. Elm is Haskell in the browser.
Oh.
It is actually a really promising UI language that is type safe. It has the friendliest compiler I've ever seen. So we shall see. There's some. It's very promising. It's very early. I would not you don't ship product in this yet, but you keep your eye on it. Maybe you do a few little components here and there. There's definitely I'm an engineer in the sense that I'm a pie in the sky engineer in the sense that I definitely love to try new things, but at the same time you got to be really careful when you're shipping a product and you're trying to support it and you're trying to get people to hack on it and to use it. Tried and true is good for it. Might not be the most exciting thing, and it might be very, very frustrating at times, but it's really, really important for shipping. So Naughty Dog. Okay, Naughty Dog was the one. Yeah. It must have been them. I'm pretty sure it was Jack and Daxter. I'd have to go look up this again. I'm fairly sure that's the case. Will Golang or Rust replace C++? I hope so. But then again, people still program in Fortran, so
it'll be a while.
I'd sell my husband, but you can't afford him. We'll see. We're Riot now. We got Riot money. What else are we gonna do with that?
This is terrible. No.
No.
I want to archive these streams.
These are great.
It's gonna be on the internet forever. I know Lua is the industry standard, but what do you think about JavaScript since you're GUI already?
Yeah, I don't know who's
want to stab myself.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's ECMAScript 6, which yay, 20 years later is fixing a lot of the nonsense. And it has a huge support of tooling and a huge support of people using it. I don't know how many people have actually embedded it in a 3D engine, or pardon me, just a game engine in general. And it's still garbage collected and has those problems, but I don't the tooling is fantastic. If the C++ interop is good enough, then that might be it's an interesting question. I would love to see someone give that a shot and see how that actually works.
One of the things we picked Lua for was for its modability, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, JavaScript is text, you can just load it, and there's a lot. I mean, we can just pull stuff. You could pull random stuff off the internet and just execute code from anywhere. What could possibly go wrong?
And thus the internet was built.
Yes, right? Yes, with both the advantage and the disadvantage. So I don't know. It's there's Dart, which is built by Google, which again has great tooling, and it's got a much tighter sort of language. It's built, it has a lot of nice concurrency primitives in it. JavaScript doesn't really. I mean, it has web workers, but so yeah.
I think what's funny is that there's something about Lua that I find just inherently more stable to write in than JavaScript. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think maybe it's just, Does it come down to the fact that like Lua has all of its 4 in and its 4 wide?
Yeah. Like, you don't like to choose between 25 different libraries to do the same damn thing, one of which then gets changed and breaks everyone else's.
You know.
What was that thing? Was it like an array for each or something, or no? It was too lower.
Yeah.
Too lower was a Node.js package or something, and then someone
Yeah.
changed it and like 1,000 things broke or something. Yeah, it's great. Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, I think it was on Crash that they were doing this, or maybe it was one of the Jack and Daxters. I don't know. Yeah, CF V8 engine supports it. I'll keep you posted. Supports what? Drum Original said.
JavaScript.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is the UI of Stoneheart written with CSS and HTML? Yes,
You
it is.
bet.
And we use Ember. Hooray! Ember. My favorite thing. Okay, what else do we have here?
Let's see. Dimago is saying like something about
Well, still
select
this.
freestanding walls, hold down shift, and
Place,
place
like,
10 tiles of wall step by step. Okay.
10 tiles of walls, step by step.
Like, let me know.
Walls
if I'm...
being only 2x1 blocks.
What?
Oh, so very, 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 very,
Oh.
very thin. Yay, I'm an Ember dev. Get started with React, or try Elm.
2 by
Yeah.
what?
I'm assuming that's what he means, like
Like
that,
this?
and just keep placing them down.
2, 3.
Or does he mean 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1?
5. Oops.
They're still gonna have to, like, the scaffolding is minimal, but
And then the
Fun
wall
fact.
part being only 2 by 1 blocks, you'll get what I mean. The building without scaffolding. All right, I will just let them.
oh no, he means just the columns.
Oh, just the columns.
Yeah, because
Whoa.
because columns are special cased, and maybe in a way that so walls can't be special cased in the way that that's a really clever idea. Yeah, just make a wall of columns. Walls can't be special cased because we have to make sure that, well, for one thing, you can put stuff in them. Like you can go and just like put artifacts and like windows and whatnot. So that involves having to go and build around and have basically effectively non-convex regions.
But we also cheat for columns. Like they
yeah.
just bang on the bottom.
Exactly.
Of the column and it
So all of
rises.
these are just going to fly up. So like
if we'd wanted to do that for building, then we would have solved building quite a long
exactly.
time ago.
And again, like it would work for these walls. It would look probably okay because they would just start like, oh, did we run out of wood? We might have run out of wood. Yeah. No, we have wood. Oh, you ran out of what's it called? Pardon me. Ran out of
Well, we are almost out of wood blocks. Here,
Yeah.
I'll just make more.
No. We have 50 out of 1, or is that?
Oh,
wait.
you're right. It needs one more block.
Yeah.
We
Oh no,
could-
they're still building. They're just
yeah.
taking their sweet time, and plus they're starting to starve to death.
Oh,
Honestly,
here,
you
let's
guys don't
make-
get to eat until you finish your
Agreed.
work. What the heck? I always give them roast.
Oh, roast?
Yeah, roast something. It's pretty high protein, I guess. So, yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1. Literally only brown. Yeah, we got it now. Fun fact, the entirety of the internet was programmed by cat chasing a fly, knocking over an expensive vase on top of a keyboard. The internet is fine. I don't have a problem with the internet. It's all the stuff that came on. It's like HTML. It's a hypertext markup language. It's for documents. And then we're like, I know, let's make a user interface out of documents. This will be great. And then we're like, oh, okay, let's reinvent the whole like bloody OS stack inside the browser. And now we're right back to where we were. Oh my god. Some amazing languages. People stick to outdated old languages. Well, again, you want to stick to the stuff that you know will work. But the good thing is that there are now these nice new ones that look like they're getting a lot of steam. Like you definitely need a big company behind them. You need you need a Google behind JavaScript, or you need or I guess it's Mozilla as well, and then Go as well. Actually, Google does a lot of language stuff, and then you have Mozilla behind Rust, and Servo is already very, very interesting. The fact that they're building an entirely new browser completely from scratch, and it's actually like kind of working, and it's actually pretty performant in some areas. So
I think
it's
too, because if you don't have a large company behind a language, like you can't convince anyone at your company that language isn't just going to have some weird fate happen to
Exactly.
it, and then you are stuck with a language that no one wants to support.
Exactly.
And you're hosed.
Yeah, and that's death. You can't take that chance. So you need, it's not just like I have a grammar and a library and a reference compiler. You need the grammar, the library, reference compiler, the IDE, the community manager, and gobs of money to make sure it doesn't disappear. So yeah.
Should we talk about Flex? Oh wait, we're online and this will be here forever. We once bet a really large product on a language that was supported by a large company, but that did not stop the large company from bailing on us. Yeah, yeah. I think the wound in my back is starting to scab over a little bit, but I am still super angry about that.
Eventually, you have to go to the Grey Havens because like it doesn't heal. No, it's the what kind of blade was he stabbed with? I forgot how it goes. But yeah, no. You save the Shire, but not for
blade.
Yeah, the Nazgul. No,
Yeah.
that stuff is that's dark magic. That doesn't go away. So. Chris is amazing and cool. Has anyone else noticed this? I try to tell people. Like, I have shirts that say that to that effect, and like, it's surprising the amount of like pushback I get on it. It's really annoying. Unrated Doug. Oh, Radiant Doug. You are so radiant. What's your opinion on functional programming? Is it a better paradigm? I haven't written enough functional code to go and tell you one way or another. Actually, there's a word pun there. Yes, in both senses, I have not written enough functional code that is functional to give you an opinion. I think it's great for some things, and actually, that's why I'm kind of very interested in Elm as a UI language. It might be the right way to represent user interfaces. There's sometimes when you just want state and you just want to be able to mutate stuff, and you want to be able to I want to just be able to that's what the hardware is. The hardware is registers and memory, and like if this comes and then this happens and this happens and this happens, and like it's nice to have a language that can represent that, and that's why I do think languages that are imperative are ultimately like gonna just have sort of better performance characteristics because it'll be easier to reason about. I could be wrong. Maybe that will change as time goes on. But no, I'm super happy about any kind of functional programming. And whenever I can go and write like an immutable piece of code and like it's just that makes my day. But like it's a simulation game. Like God, it's mutable state everywhere. So there aren't that many opportunities. Actually, I guess that part of the graphics engine, as far as going from I have a scene graph to I have pixels on the screen, is kind of a pretty functional-ish pipeline. But it's just a slice. It's parts of it. So Chris's hair choice surely takes up more shampoo and drying time than mine. Go easy on the shampoo. You don't have to kill the hair. You can just kind of let it breathe, I think is a good philosophy. And Stephanie doesn't smell anything. At least she hasn't been wrinkling her nose, so I think it's okay.
I actually do think that we overuse soap products, like as a society. Like I've read many things about how like we are slowly destroying our skin and the environment by like by causing our bodies to become used to all of the like stuff all the product we use.
That said, I'm still a fan of like washing your hands before like performing surgery. That's a great thing. Like
that was talk about solving human ills, like sterilizing blades.
Yeah, hey, that's a good thing. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna deliver a baby right after hacking off that guy's leg. Okay, that's they didn't know any better.
It's a testament to the fact that we are still here. That we are a tremendous thing.
There's been 100 billion humans. Modern human. Like that's pretty good. We've done pretty. Despite the stupidity and despite the the accidents and the poor correlations. Like the weather was bad just as she was insulting me. She's a witch. Let's burn her. Like we've managed to fix a lot of nonsense. So.
Lucky us.
Yeah.
All right, so we are coming to the end of the hour. Is there anything you'd like to share with people about building, about Stonehearth, about what it is that you see that's super important that we might be doing next, all that kind of stuff?
There. OP is beauty. Yeah, I think a combination imperative and functional is best solution. Yep, I totally agree. And then, of course, more baby stuff. Okay, I probably shouldn't have ended with that. It's a little on the dark side.
Well, it's like... Yeah, we'll talk about OOP and imperative and functional, and then autopsies.
Yeah.
But, they are kind of related.
It's a great stream. This is what you want.
You should stream all the time. I guess if you streamed all the time, you wouldn't be building awesome buildings.
Yeah, and plus, I don't a lot of the stuff I do is like just me sort of staring at a line of code, and then like going, oh, maybe no.
Well, I think.
But.
You talked about how building was interesting because you actually didn't know if it was solvable.
Oh yeah.
Like most of the UI things we do, most of the gaming things we do, we're pretty sure that it is a solved problem when we walk into it.
And most of what I do is it's engineering. It's like, okay, we're making a 3D engine. All right, I haven't done that, but other people have done that, and I know some stuff about that, and I've seen 3D engines before, so like I know it's doable.
Right.
Not to my knowledge, no one has done something like scaffolding, and if you go and you look around, there's a good reason. As it turns out, it's bloody hard. So, it's... I certainly enjoy that challenge. It's a little nerve-wracking when you're trying to, do the challenge while, like, you're in front of 100,000 or, some number of thousands of people that, are kind of very, very much interested in watching your game and watching the development of it. It would be much nicer to have those problems solved ahead of time. And it's, there's that sort of philosophy of, well, get the first thing that works out the door, make sure, it's okay, and then iterate. But, like, at the same time, there are some problems where, no, actually, you just have to go and think really hard, ahead of time, and, like, realize that, no, this is a sophisticated problem that requires a sophisticated solution, and not much else you can do to that.
When did you realize that it might not be a simple problem? Like,
as I kept trying to solve it and the thread kept unraveling, you keep pulling at it, you're like, oh, maybe if I do this thing, you're like, well, actually, I guess it's tough because you can come up with a lot of examples that work really well, and then you get to an example that doesn't, and it really is like that realization that okay, I've got this thing where clearly a temporal ordering is important, where clearly this is a case that cannot be solved because of, I can always get into a situation where I can create a structure and we evaluate the order of that structure in such a way that the scaffolding cannot be built at time. And once you hit that, it's like, it's an impossibility result. And you realize, oh, okay, I'm an idiot. We have to go and just do this all ahead of time, and we have to pre-compute everything. And yeah, I mean, it's a matter of, and it sounds simple, you just think through the cases, but it's also pretty easy to convince yourself that the code you just wrote and your two cool examples that work, and because you solved those particular instances of the bug, oh, everything works, everything's fine. No. You have to be more careful, and I think we were a little on the cavalier side when it came to actually putting this together. So
sure. When did you realize that it was fixable?
Has it been fixed completely?
Well, I mean, you now believe that it is a solvable problem.
Yeah, it's a matter, I mean, the invariant, literally, that I'm trying to create while we're doing this is that when you have to erect a part of a structure, when you're placing blocks, that every single block is accessible from scaffolding, which is on something, which is accessible by scaffolding, which is on something, which gets you onto the ground. And this current scaffolding system is basically built around trying to make sure that invariant holds. And I have convinced myself, you look at the code and you try to think very, very generally. Like something relatively new within the last alpha is we decompose all of the structures into rectangular subsections, so essentially convex subsections. And once you do that and you have this convexity guarantee, you can say, oh, okay, I know because this is convex that this is all reachable as long as there's a line of scaffolding coming up to it. Mm-hmm. And then you have this sort of anchor that you can say, oh, okay, now because of that guarantee, I can make all these other assumptions around it. And like we couldn't do that before, because we would try to have these very small but potentially non-convex regions, and like I don't even know how to solve that. I don't know how to reason about that. And once you have that, you have an invariant, and then you can start to build on that, and then you can say, oh, you know what, I think this is going to work. Assuming I haven't made any terrible mistakes in my reasoning, I think this is solvable modulo, the current sort of little bugs where some things are put in wrong places, or, with the inaccessible locations because of the hearthling traps. But otherwise, and they're all hungry again. Did they eat everything?
That would be
they stocked it. I didn't know the stockpiles, so. Anyone else? C# and...
Last questions?
Oh, there's a bytecode discussion. I'm not getting involved. Also, you can compile Java code to direct machine code and make up for speed loss. Java GC is not deterministic. Be very, 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 very careful with garbage collection in games. I don't know too much about it since they're not very popular. They're likely to specifically their advantages. Rabbit Clan,
definitely coming. Don't know when. But we will let you know as soon as we have more information. We sort of talked a bit on Desktop Tuesday this week, so if you haven't really looked at it yet, feel free to take a look and ask us questions. But we talked a bit more on Desktop Tuesday this week about some of the stuff from Stream 200, where we're looking at next, where we're going, some of the really big challenges that we're trying to solve, and how we're sort of like focusing our scope and our vision so that we can actually solve those challenges in a reasonable fashion. So the long and short of it is that, for example, we'll be focusing on some larger, higher level pictures. Like, for example, Ali will literally be drawing high-level pictures of things. Like, you saw her work on the edge of the world. Like, we've got a whole bunch more questions for her like that. What should the sky be? Like, will there actually be clouds up there? Like, what should high-end, like, cities look like? You know, these are all questions we've been deferring because we've been making, like, you know, short-term wins with, like, fountains and stuff like that. But really, we need to sort of, like, step back, take a, like, 20,000 foot view of it, and then like be like, okay, now that we've got the now that we know where we're going, now we can like actually make a map to get there. And you'll definitely still continue to see us work on spot features, like Chris is working on building destruction right now, because we know that that's absolutely going to be necessary, and we're definitely going to be spending a lot of time working on performance so that we have to worry less about performance as we make those new features. So I do wish that we could just be like, yeah, and Northern Alliance is coming in 2 weeks, and the Rabbit Clan comes 2 weeks after that, but I think that if we did that now, you would find the game kind of like flabbier. It would just keep getting flabbier. You'd be like, well, the Rabbit Clan's here, but what do they do that's different? Are they just rabbits?
Is it a palette shift?
Yeah,
like, you want something more than that.
So, you know, in order to give you something meaningful, I think we need to take a step back and look at some of the bigger questions. But don't worry, we will be right here talking about it the whole time. So, like, we're not going anywhere, and you will get to be privy to our long, drawn-out, but hopefully interesting conversation. Okay.
There is some Monty Python going on, which makes me happy. That's a good way to end things.
Yeah, seriously. Hash map or array list? Hash map.
Anyway.
Yes.
My quest is for the holy sheep.
Is it blue or yellow or blue or yellow?
Riot office is that riot money.
Wait, what? What does this have to do with anything else? Anyway, any of Mally's idle animations? Someone asked that earlier. There's no reason they shouldn't get into Alpha 18, but we will just see where that goes. I think they're very cool.
I miss her heart a lot.
Okay.
Was your sister hurt by a moose? I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, we should watch it again.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think that's it.
On that note, I think we should sign off. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Ali will resume tomorrow morning's Wednesday 8:30 a.m. stream with some more interesting art stuff. So I hope you guys all hang out there for her and support her with all of the stuff that she's working on. All right.
All right. See you, everyone.